CROSSFIRE. Everyone's FPS dream. It's more than a game. There are many paths to victory, and the champions are not only made in the arena. Do you still remember the joy and inspiration? Do you still remember the confidence and adrenaline? Do you still remember your original intention and the passion?
love CFS.
I love CFS.
I love CFS.
I love CFS.
I love CFS. I love CFS.
I love CFS.
I love CFS.
I love CFS.
I love CFS.
I love CFS. I love CFS.
I love CFS.
I love CFS.
I love CFS. I love CFS.
I love CFS.
I love CFS.
I love CFS.
I love CFS.
I love CFS.
I love CFS.
I love CFS.
I love CFS.
I love CFS.
I love CFS.
I love CFS.
I love CFS. Woo! I love CFS. I love CFS. I love CFS.
I love CFS.
I love CFS.
I love CFS.
我是中国赛区的选手林肯，我在队伍里面担任的角色是断后和辅助。全火线这个项目打职业已经打了8年了。
Hi, I'm Kart from execution team from the Philippines. I'm the captain of the execution and I've been playing for 8 years in CROSSFIRE.
Nama saya Hamzah, saya berasal dari Indonesia. Posisi saya di tim sebagai leader di tim. Saya bermain CROSSFIRE profesional dari tahun 2013.
I play CROSSFIRE because a lot of people in the Philippines playing CROSSFIRE. So when I see the CROSSFIRE and I hook the playing for CROSSFIRE and I play.
Awalnya saya bermain CROSSFIRE itu mencoba untuk bermain game baru dari game saya yang sebelumnya. Bermain CROSSFIRE itu saya bercoba untuk berkompetisi dan sampai sekarang saya akhirnya bermain dengan berprestasi seperti ini.
最开始是在家里面嘛，然后全火线内测的时候，我有一些好的哥们儿和同学在玩，通过他们在玩这个游戏，然后我才开始知道这个游戏，然后我才跟他们一起玩的。
I think it changed my life because when you win in every tournament of CROSSFIRE, you have money. So I think it changed my life. CROSSFIRE changed my life.
Saya merasa mungkin lebih banyak teman di permainan ini. Saya lebih merasakan bekerja bersama-sama dengan teman juga. Bagaimana menjadi tim yang lebih baik.
信任嘛，这款游戏是一款团队游戏，然后我们5个人在团队里面扮演着各种角色嘛。这个团队一起去参加比赛，必须要5个人相互信任，然后这样的话才能就是说比赛才可以胜利。包括现实里面5个人生活在一起，有很多细节啊，要互相包容队友啊，或者说他们来包容我的一些不好的一点。所以说我觉得这个游戏，让我学会了特别多的东西。我在川火焰里面打了这么多年吧，然后从一个小孩儿打到现在也26、27岁了嘛。我衷心的希望这款游戏越来越好，我们大家越来越好。
Mungkin di tahun-tahun berikutnya turnamen seperti CFS ini lebih diperbanyak mungkin. Karena di Indonesia sendiri turnamen sebesar ini hanya 1 tahun 1 kali seperti itu. Mungkin bisa ditambahkan.
I think for me, CROSSFIRE is, thank you CROSSFIRE, because CROSSFIRE changed my life.
I'm Jonathan XMSX Holland. I'm from North America on the team Carbon, and
I've been playing professionally for 5 years, since 2013, and my position on the team is team captain.
I'm Plitch. I'm from Colombia. I have been playing CROSSFIRE like 8 years ago. In the team, I have the role to manage my team, and I'm attacker too.
Hi. Oi, meu nome é Daniel, eu jogo profissional há 2 anos, sou suporte da Black Dragons e estou representando o Brasil.
How I started playing back in 2013 professionally was pretty funny, because I was playing with a group of my friends at first, and we were just playing in the Pro League, and we weren't expecting to win, we were just having fun. And I was just dominating everybody. So the #1 team back then was Carbon, actually, and they were just looking at me and they were like, wow, this guy has, you know, the best, I don't know, statistics in the Pro League, and we're looking for one. We want to make sure that we secure the CROSSFIRE Stars spot for that year, the #1 place in North America for CROSSFIRE Stars. And so they picked me up in order to secure that.
I knew about this game in 2012 because all my friends played that. So also I want to play that, and that's my favorite game since 8 years ago. At the beginning, this game was a hobby, but later I want to be a professional. That's why you have to be dedicated and disciplined and love for play this game, and meet a lot of people who is good in the game, because I learn a lot of things about other people too.
A coisa mais louca que eu fiz foi quando, há 2 anos atrás, eu decidi sair do quartel, que era uma vida que eu podia seguir carreira militar, e era uma certeza na minha vida para poder me dedicar ao CROSSFIRE. Eu servi ao Exército Brasileiro, aí eu saí do Exército para jogar CROSSFIRE profissional. No Brasil a gente tem um campeonato que se chama Liga de Acesso. Quando você vence, você se torna um profissional, começa a jogar com os times mais fortes. E no final de 2016 eu joguei esse campeonato junto com o Valiant, atual capitão da Black Dragons, e a gente conseguiu vencer, e foi aí que eu comecei minha jornada como profissional.
At the beginning, when I started to play, my mom was disagreeing because I played CROSSFIRE. But later, when I started to travel, to win, to increase my popularity in this game, she agrees now. Yes, and she's very happy because I played CROSSFIRE.
Foi uma decisão muito difícil, porque na época eu fazia faculdade e eu pagava a faculdade com dinheiro do Exército. Então meio que foi um choque para eles, mas eu tinha confiança em mim mesmo, que tudo ia dar certo, e eu batalhei pelo meu sonho, e graças a Deus, desde então eu tenho conseguido bons frutos dessa decisão.
So even back when I dropped out of college in 2013, my mother, because I only have my father's out of the picture, so my mother, she was still supportive of me, but she wasn't too happy that I did that, you know, but she was still supportive. She said, you know, you go do what you want to do, and if it doesn't work out, you come back and you go to college. So I would say 2 things that CROSSFIRE has really done for me that I appreciate. #1 is it's satisfied my competitive spirit, where I've always enjoyed just competing and trying to be the best in something, and CROSSFIRE has done that for me, and I love it. And the #2 thing is I've always loved to perform for people and you know, impress people and gain fans and things like this, just be popular. It's always something that makes me happy, and so I love all my fans.
The most important skills in the game are communication, good accuracy, work team. That's it. If my team have it, we can win all the time.
Eu acho que o CROSSFIRE me deu muita coisa, porque eu fiz 21 anos já e eu não esperava que eu pudesse viver tanta coisa que o CROSSFIRE me trouxe. Como, por exemplo, conhecer a China, morar na China, conhecer outros países do mundo e conhecer pessoas novas também. Então, eu acho que eu sou muito grato a Deus por ter conhecido o CROSSFIRE e por estar onde eu estou hoje.
I'm very thankful with this game because it gave me the opportunity to know new friends, to meet new places, and completely changed my life. Thank you for.
Eu queria agradecer ao jogo por tudo que me proporcionou e dizer parabéns. Apesar do jogo estar há muito tempo, o jogo sempre foi muito bom e eu espero sempre que continue melhorando.
Thank you for providing me the opportunity to go on all these trips. I love coming to China, and I love playing at these tournaments, and it's just it means the world to me. And also thank you to CROSSFIRE for providing so much fun for me and my friends. There's so many things for us to do. We have late nights, laughing, eating good food, drinking, playing some CROSSFIRE. It's been great. Thank you, CROSSFIRE.
Hello, my name is Grace. I'm from the European team Center Sports.
Tôi đến từ Việt Nam và team game của tôi là Ali.
Hi, меня зовут Алексей.
Và vị trí tôi chơi trong team boss đó là tôi là leader và số năm tôi chơi là đã được 10 năm.
I'm the leader and the sniper of the team, and I've been playing this game for 9 years. Мой старший брат показал мне эту игру. Так я начал играть. Все. I think it was my brother who introduced me to the game. He showed me the game, and ever since I loved playing it.
Lần đầu tiên tôi tiếp xúc đó là ngày đầu tiên ra mắt game ở tại Việt Nam và cũng không giấu gì các bạn, Ali là một người rất là mê thể loại FPS.
I think it was in 2013 when I first heard of CFS, but the first 2 seasons I didn't qualify for it, and then in 2014 we finally managed to qualify for it, and this is where I first attended my first CFS.
Я играю в CROSSFIRE уже 8 лет, и из них играю 5 лет профессионально. Я являюсь капитаном команды Legends и также снайпером.
Con đường của Ali đến với chuyên nghiệp đó, Ali nghĩ đó là một cái duyên. Và cái duyên đó bắt đầu từ năm 2014 là cái chức mà Ali đạt được là Á quân thế giới CFS tổ chức ở tại Hàn Quốc. Rất cực kỳ là vinh dự, cực kỳ là hạnh phúc vì là
Чему я научился в CROSSFIRE, это тому, что как нужно играть в команде, в первую очередь, как нужно взаимодействовать с тиммейтами и идти на компромиссы.
I think it changed me a lot, this game. It showed me how to win and how to lose and how to handle it, to lose. It showed me how to handle a team.
Thoạt đầu thì gần như là rất nhiều người không cho đó là một cái cách làm tốt vì họ còn quá nhiều ý kiến không tốt về game. Thì khoảng thời gian đó rất là khó khăn đối với Ali vì gần như là không có ai ủng hộ cả. Mãi sau này khi có những thành công, có những giải đấu và được mọi người công nhận đó là một môn thể thao điện tử thì như bây giờ thì Ali nghe đó là một kết quả xứng đáng.
I think the game itself improved a lot. I really love that CFS gets bigger every year. The tournament improves from year to year. The players and the teams got better. It's really nice to be here every time. I really love it.
Я желаю CROSSFIRE только становиться лучше и лучше, и желаю процветания этой игре.
Điều mà Ali muốn nghĩ nhiều nhất và muốn nói nhiều nhất đó là mong muốn CFS cũng như là Tencent sẽ tiếp tục xây dựng con game này càng phát triển để cho những game thủ chuyên nghiệp họ sẽ coi như đây là một công việc thật sự.
Hello everyone, welcome to Fun Stars Show. I'm your host Karina, and today we have invited many special guests to the dance. Let's say hello to our audience and introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm Darren, nicknamed Dice, and I'm playing for Flipside Tactics.
Hello, I'm Menendez from Team Center Sports.
Hello, my name is Pablo, I'm a member of Team Forward.
And now we will have a little game. The game we are going to play is very simple because you just need to count the beads on the plate. But at the same time, you need to answer every question I ask you when you are counting. So it's actually test your concentration. But we believe our professional players will show us your talent. Do you have any confidence? Okay, let's start. Ready to go. Time to start. Okay, 3, 2, 1, start. first question is, do you like beans?
Yes. Yes.
Do you like CF?
Of course. Yes. Yes.
And how long have you been playing CF?
9 years. 7 years. 9 years.
And how many times have you been to China?
It's my first time. About 8.
You're a little slow. And how many people are you in your team at this time?
5.
Okay, could you tell me what day is it?
What is it? Today.
Today, yes. Okay, can you tell me when is your birthday? Birthday.
December 25 July. 7th September.
And what is 8 plus 3?
11.
And 12 plus 4?
16.
And 6 times 4?
24.
And do you like Chinese food?
Yes. Yes.
Do you like Nanjing food?
Yes.
Never tried it, okay. And can you tell me the 6 plus 9?
10.
50, 6 plus 9, 70, 50, and you?
15.
Yes, okay, the last one is, please tell me the 8 times 3.
24.
Okay, the first one is finished, you continue. Okay, let's wait for the other two. Wow. And after this, we will open the button of the plate to reveal the number of the beans on the plate. And whose number is actually close. The actual number, who is the winners, okay? Use 2 hands to count here. Okay. Okay, finished. Could you tell me how many you're counting?
127.
127. Let me take a look. Is this the correct? The real number is 129. Wow, very close. Okay, and you?
133.
133. Take a look. 33 was also very nearly, but it's just after 5. Okay, and you? How about you?
125.
125. Can you help me too? Wow, it's very close. Okay, and now we have prepared many prize for you. We have prepared the participation prize is our Nanjing's famous food, Nanjing specialty, salted duck. Do you like it?
Yeah.
You can try the Nanjing food. Okay.
Thank you very much.
And for you, congratulations for you. And the winner prize is our Chinese Minjing Thai, because 2 people's theme is the same price. Okay, so we will give you 2 prizes to you. Okay? Okay, it's our participation award, and because our have 2 winners, so we have prepared the winner prize for you. It is our Chinese Minjing Thai, very beautiful for you. Congratulations.
Can I open it?
Yeah, you can open it. Let's take a look. Oh, it's very beautiful. You can show it to our audience. Wow, it's so beautiful. And congratulations.
Thank you.
Wow. He is very sad because he's so happy. Yes. Okay, thank you for joining us here, and thank you for watching. Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Hello everyone, welcome to Fun Stars Show. I'm your host, Karina. And today we have invited many special guests to the scenes. Let's say hello to our audience and introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Bart from Excretion.
Hi, I'm Demera from Excretion.
大家好，我是 AG 的 TFQ。
大家好，我是 AG 的 TF。
好的，欢迎各位 welcome. And now we will do a little game. The game we are going to play is about the color. So let me introduce the rule of the games. You need to correctly to speak out the color of each word. I will time for you, and who is the shortest times will win. Okay, you got it. Okay, let's start. Who will do the first? Okay. Okay, are you ready? Okay, let's start. 3, 2, 1,
蓝色、灰色、
紫色、黑色、红色、黄色、紫色、绿色、蓝色、橙色、黄色、粉色。
蓝色、灰色、粉色、黑色、紫色、绿色、黄色、粉色、红色、红色、黄色、紫色。
蓝色、灰色、黑色、
粉色、红色、橙色、紫色、黄色、紫色、灰色、粉色。
绿色、灰色、黄色、红色、绿色、黑色、绿色。
蓝色、橙色、灰色、紫色、绿色、粉色。
Wow, very short of the time. Okay. Okay, ready? Yes. It's ready to start. Let me take a look. Okay. Oh, 3, 2, 1.
Black, red,
Yellow, green, blue, black, red, pink.
blue, purple, gray, yellow, red.
Violet, black, green. Green, red, blue, black, yellow, violet.
Gray, pink, orange, gray, red, yellow, black, violet, green.
Green, violet,
Yellow, orange, blue, red, pink, violet.
blue, pink, green, red, black, orange, yellow. Orange, red, pink, green, yellow, black, orange, blue, violet.
Pink, black, blue, gray, black, red.
Okay. Wow, what a shame. It's just a little bit. Okay. And congratulations for the Chinese team. And thanks for joining us again. Thank you. And now we will give the participation prize. It is the Nanjing specialty salted duck. Congratulations. It is very special food in Nanjing. Yes. But we also have prepared the winner prize. It is Chinese Ringjing Tai. Wow, congratulations. Let's take a look. Wow, it's so amazing and beautiful. And thanks again for joining us today, and thanks for watching. Thank you.
Welcome back to CFS 2018, and those matches of our CROSSFIRE Legends tournament have lit up the arena here in Nanjing. Now we return to the CROSSFIRE Championship. 16 teams joined us, and throughout the groups we saw thrilling action. 2 teams made it through to the semi-finals, but not to the grand final. We welcome them now for our 3rd place match. To our stage, we will bring you from Brazil, INTZ Esports Club, and representing China, the 2-time world champion, Super Valiant Gaming SV. Time for them to see who will be 3rd place in our tournament this year. We'll go over to our commentators and get into the action.
Well, thank you very much, Matt. Yes, here we are, CFS 2018. It is time, finally, for our 3rd placed match. Super Valiant Gaming from China up against INTZ from Brazil. Gentlemen, if we had said that this would be our 3rd place match at the start of the tournament, I don't think anyone would have believed us for a number of reasons, Kyle.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, seeing 2 Brazilian teams make it all the way into the top 4, not something anyone had really expected looking at all the teams that we had in store for us in this event. And now 2 of them have made it this far. It's just a huge feat in itself, but still, SV falling as well, equally important to keep our eyes on in the future, because Chinese CROSSFIRE may have some struggle looking forward, but now this is a chance to prove they're still the 3rd best team here.
Overall, this was just a very Brazilian-dominated tournament when you look at it in the way that the bracket played out. INTZ, who came into this tournament after a 3 or 4 year absentee streak, unfortunately just not able to make it through their region's qualifiers over the past couple of years. They come back in with a barnstorming performance out of the groups, make it all the way, of course, over towards the semifinals, where they do eventually fall. And for the Black Dragons, a bit of a rough start for them in the groups, but we're able to recover incredibly well, and in the bracket stage play have really shown us quite a number of performance.
Overall, a great tournament so far for both of the Brazilian teams. For the Chinese teams, it's been an entirely different story. Super Valiant Gaming, the best of all of them, coming through and making their way to that 3rd place playoff. However, everyone else is missing, and this is really quite a remarkable place to be in, Kyle.
It really is, and when we look at those groups, AG looked like the front runner for so long, but then in those best-of-1 quarterfinals, Rue Legends, they showed up out of nowhere and just came out with a big win.
Yeah, really quite surprising, Blue.
Yeah, absolutely, and considering as well, it's somewhat surprising, actually, when you look at the way the Rue Legends got off to a good start, right? But the problem is they had a little bit of a bumpy road as they got further and further into the groups. Thankfully, as Kyle said, they really came in headstrong once they got themselves into the quarterfinals and started to move through the bracket play a little bit more, and that's when they really came into their own. Were able to really just shut down every opponent they face in the quarters and semis.
Yeah, for me, the remarkable thing is that we have the back-to-back champion, Super Valiant Gaming, 2016, 2017, who have not made the grand final this time around, even though they were looking so strong. And INTZ, who, as you alluded to earlier, Blue, they haven't really placed since CFS 2015, where they came 4th as an org. So I guess an opportunity for them to do the same this time. They're definitely, though, Kyle, looking to get that one better.
Yeah, I mean, for them, getting here is a big feat in itself. I mean, no one really expected INTZ to even make it out of their group, really, and they just shocked us all with how they've performed. And out of all the teams here, they haven't really had a bad map either. They've played really well on every map. They've had a few shaky ones in the semifinals, but in their group, they looked completely dominant, only losing in overtime.
Yeah, that's it. If we go through what we saw, originally it was Pacific Warrior to kick things off, a pretty easy win, 10-6. Unfortunately, they did face down Super Valiant Gaming early on. They lost that one in overtime, 13-10. That was a pretty good game, Blue. They managed to bring it back. It was very close all the way. Overtime, though, a little bit one-sided for the Chinese.
Yeah, unfortunately, just kind of lost steam as it ended up going into overtime, and that does worry me a bit now that they're going to be playing them again in a much longer format in a best-of-3.
Yeah.
About if INTZ are going to be able to bring as strong a performance to the table once we get past that first map, and when we really start to test the endurance of some of these players.
Well, here's the Super Valiant Gaming lineup on screen right now. Kyle, talk me through these 5 players.
I mean, when you look at this roster, N9 is definitely the first person you would go to here. He's had an incredible performance throughout. He's kind of the reason they did slip in that semifinal, but I would still be looking at him as the one to bounce back here and make sure they take home that third place prize.
There's WQ. We saw him actually win. They did go head-to-head with INTZ. He was the one, unfortunately, who had the least impact. So maybe there's something there for INTZ, knowing how to deal with him, or perhaps he just had a bad day.
I think overall for WQ, he had a little bit of a slow start to this event, but he started to come into his own as we entered days 2 and 3 of the group stage back in Taichung, and I think that performance has remained relatively consistent, so I'm not as worried for his performance going into this matchup as I am for N9 due to the reasons that we mentioned earlier, where N9 really just kind of dropped off the face of the earth in the semifinals.
Yeah, absolutely. If we have a look at N9 stats from when these two teams versed earlier on in the competition, he had an AP of 29, a huge score, very, very impressive, but did not manage to follow through with it. So it's going to be interesting to see whether, now they come head-to-head again, he's going to have the edge over a team like INTZ, or whether it's going to impact him, you know, the fact that he did drop off later on to the tournament. I'm also interested how the team at Super Valiant are going to deal with playing here on the big stage, but not being in the grand final for once.
Yeah, it's definitely a disappointment for them, I'm sure, but looking at this Chinese crowd, SV still going to have that fire beneath them to try and drive them forward, but let's not be wrong about these INTZ players as well, having that fire of the Brazilian passion we've seen throughout this competition. I'm sure they will be just as emotional here, even in this third place match, and you can see they're already sort of getting themselves mentally prepared for what's in store for them.
Yeah, in the match where they went head-to-head earlier on, NNM was the standout here for INTZ, even if they weren't able to grab the victory. Who are we looking at here in our third place match?
I think it's really going to come down to what the map pool ends up being here. I think SV has a lot of advantages, though, because they just have the firepower behind them to really open up a lot of maps here, whereas INTZ, we've seen a lot of fluctuation in performance. NNM, though, obviously leading the charge here, but still, I think it's going to come down to those players who've been kind of hit and miss on INTZ for them to pull through here.
Do we have a feeling of what maps we might be seeing, or perhaps what maps might get banned out?
I mean, when I look at the map pool, I'd say INTZ probably doesn't want to go toe-to-toe on sub-base again. They already fell there, and I don't think they want to have that in the back of their minds as a map on the table once again, so I wouldn't be surprised if that's their go-to ban, but obviously you still do have that Black Widow ban common against a Chinese roster as well, so I'd say one of those two maps is what INTZ may get rid of. On the side of SV, I think they're going to get rid of Mexico actually in this situation. INTZ always looked strong on that map, and the Brazilian teams have been doing really innovative things on Mexico to get them the wins in this event.
They were one of the few teams that I think was able to properly, change up their strat a little bit more consistently than we were seeing some of the other teams do so, where they would fall into the pattern of that more passive mid-hold and then trying to explode out onto the B site from there, and then occasionally using the alleyway to try and push in. They actually used water quite a bit more than we were seeing, and that allowed for them to innovate a bit more and actually try to hit the other side a bit more often. I think it was catching some of the teams off guard, and that may be a reason why we see Mexico getting banned out by the Chinese team here.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if anything's changed as well, because we've had every game broadcast. That's the beauty of CFS 2018. Every match that's played in the tournament is broadcast online. You can go back and watch, see what your opponents did, see what they're currently playing, because by the time you get to this third place match, no one's holding out strats. There's no secret strats that you didn't use in the semi-final in which you failed to win. You put everything on the table here. Everything is laid bare. So a perfect opportunity, Kyle, to go back through and say, hang on, what worked for this team, what didn't work?
Yeah, and INTZ, they actually had a lot of things that went really well. I think the biggest thing for them is they just had trouble closing out the maps when it came down to the end of it. In their match against Carbon, they led 8-1, but it still went to a 10-7 finish there. So a lot of issues just closing the maps. But as we can see, the first ban is going to be Mexico, as I thought here, coming out from SV and Black Widow, the notorious ban against the Chinese here.
All right. Well, you're pretty good, Kyle. You picked, to be fair, you did hedge your bets on INTZ, but overall, I'll give it to you. Sub-base going to be the first one out, so this is going to be tough for sure for INTZ, as that would have been potentially the other map we would have expected to see banned by them. So it's going to be sub-base into port, and to finish it off, let's throw her out. Surprise of absolutely no one. Ankara. We haven't seen that much of Ankara, particularly for INTZ, so I want to see how that plays out for them. At least if they got anything for them, we can see they're going to start off on the defense.
haven't really seen a whole lot of Port either. I think later on in the tournament, once we actually got into a pick ban phase for best of threes and started to pop a little bit more. For the best of ones, it was a pretty rare map to see unless it was forced into play, of course, in that phase of the tournament. So it's going to be good to see more of that as well, as that'll be guaranteed to come into the pool as the second map.
Alrighty, as we have a look, you can see INTZ doing their usual huddle around, get ready, hype themselves up, make your opponents wait just a little bit. It worked for them for a lot of the tournament. Unfortunately, not enough against the Russians. If you have to pick a team, and I'm going to make you pick a team, who's it going to be, and what are the maps? What's the map score?
I'm going to go with SV here. I think they have a pretty good shot in this one. I'll go 2-1 because I do think Port is a map where INTZ has a lot of strength, but SV, they've got that home crowd advantage. They've got that fire beneath them, not making it into that grand final, so I think they're going to want this one just a bit more here.
Blue?
I think I'm going to go the same way as Kyle here. I think it's going to be Super Valiant Gaming. Unfortunately, in any long, drawn-out series for INTZ, it did seem like they lost steam relatively quickly, even in single maps where it went to overtime, and I feel like that's going to be an issue here, especially in front of the home crowd, in front of the Chinese crowd. Super Valiant, I think, is going to be recharged, especially if we see N9 performing again. It's going to be a tough ask for them, but I do think it is going to go to 3 maps.
All right, so you've got the 2-1 to SV. Look, as much as I like to play devil's advocate, I also cannot go past Super Valiant Gaming in this situation. The crowd is here very much on their side. This is where they excel, on the big stage, under pressure with everybody watching. And I don't think it's going to go to 3 maps. I think this is going to be a 2-0 to Super Valiant Gaming. So, look, INTZ, it's not about what they can prove, it's about what they can do here. They've already locked themselves in 40,000 USD, becoming at minimum 4th place. If they do win this best of 3, they're going to double that, $80,000, a nice prize pool, a big prize pool in any other game, Kyle. Yet here we are, 3rd, 4th place, looking at 120 grand across the board. Most other esports would dream about that sort of money.
Definitely, and not only that, it's a big chance to staple their region as the top region to beat 1st and 3rd place possible here for the Brazilian squad. So I think that's a lot in store for the future of that region.
I guess the other thing to talk about is that in the semi-final, the team who beat Super Valiant was the team from Brazil. It was Black Dragons, and Ian was alluding to this earlier, that maybe they can, share a little bit of information. What did you do against Super Valiant that worked? What can we do against Super Valiant Blue that maybe might get us across the line?
It's as well a good chance once again to prove the region as a whole. If both of these teams are going to be able to take down Super Valiant Gaming in a best of 3 format, it only further proves the dominance of Brazil against the top Chinese team in the game currently, since obviously we still saw Super Valiant make it the furthest out of any of the Chinese squads, so I think we can still affirm that they're at the top at this point in the game. But if they both get shut down by Brazilian teams, I think it might assert Brazil as that top dog region.
Yeah, it would be a humongous change here in CFS to see the Brazilian teams come out on top. We've known for a long time that Brazil as a region is strong. We've known that they produce strong teams, but it's always felt like they just, at that final hurdle, at the quarterfinal, the semi-final, they just haven't been able to break through. So it's really quite remarkable to see that we do have 2 Brazilian teams coming through, one in the grand final, one in that 3rd placed match as well. And it really goes to show that as a country, as a region, both Brazil and South America, Latin America in general, has done a very good job. We see all of their teams progressing through, all doing better than they used to.
Yeah, definitely. They've shown that they can adapt here, and I think that's been the big thing for these 2 Brazilian squads moving forward. That's going to be to their benefit. I mean, SV, a team notorious for actually knocking out Black Dragons in the past time and time again, but they learned from it and they came back and they were able to beat them. And with that knowledge potentially now in the hands of INTZ, this could still be a close battle.
Yeah. Look, I hope it goes all the way, that's for sure. But if I look into the crowd, you see those Chinese flags, you see the illuminated signs and the red flashing clap sticks. Lots of signs of support as well. You can see we have the Super Valiant Gaming cheer squad up there with banners as well. Look, yeah. It's pretty one-sided, isn't it?
Yeah.
In terms of crowd.
Unfortunately, in terms of the in-house crowd, there's not a whole lot of support for Brazil being shown, so I don't think that we're going to be seeing INTZ get much of an advantage in that regard.
Yeah.
The Chinese will definitely have the home crowd advantage. There's no question about that.
They certainly will. However, at the end of the day, it all comes down to what you do in-game. You can have as much support as you want. You can have the most fanatic supporters in the world. But if you don't perform when it matters, it does not make a difference. I think we're getting very close to getting into game here. And look, I think we can tell by watching these players, seeing how they interact, seeing what they're doing right now, this is important to them. This isn't a nothing game. This is so very important.
Yeah, definitely, and just looking at the two teams right now, INTZ definitely looking a little bit more nervous in the situation. SV, they seem calm and collected, but INTZ, they're bouncing around. You can tell they're a bit anxious going into this one, but rightfully so. It is their first match in front of this huge crowd.
Yeah, that's a big one, isn't it, Blue?
That's another big change-up going into this matchup that I fear, unfortunately, is going to work against INTZ as well. We talked about how they haven't been here for a few years, so they're now going to have to get used to this big stage, and they're not going to have time to prepare.
Well, let's get into the game. Super Valiant Gaming up against INTZ for third place here at CFS 2018.
All right, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. It's the beginning of our third place match here at CFS 2018. It'll be sub-base where we start off the series. This will be the map pick from Super Valiant Gaming. We've already seen in the group stage and the playoff stage that was played out in Taichung how dominant Super Valiant can be on this map, and we'll just have to see if that'll hold true against INTZ, who look to take them down and steal third place. And of course, the bigger share of the prize pool, the extra 40,000 USD that comes with it.
And once again, we do see the classic setup from INTZ, just the solo anchor over towards the A-bomb site here. It is going to be STK trying to lock things down. Right now, though, SV looking for that opening pick, trying to find their way into an early advantage here right now, though. Akemi looking for the answer outside of A-Long, going to spot a couple players here, but Elegant playing very patient on the angle, trying to catch him off guard. Neither player connects just yet, though.
Kemi does get the spot on some intel, however, so at least knows the general approach that Super Valiant are going to be taking for the opening couple seconds of this round. Unfortunately, it's not a whole lot to play off of with still a minute and a half remaining in the round, as Super Valiant can easily rotate their players away from that wood hall and over towards a more direct take in a CP room, or even L-turn to get themselves into the B site. Meanwhile, in terms of a defensive setup to stop this kind of an A push, primarily you're looking at STK trying to get in the way of that. He's going to be right atop the steps. It's a bit dangerous for him, though. But we do see him getting away, and most importantly, Elegant missing the arm shot. As now SV are going to pull away from the wood hall. They're going to pull away from the A site in general now and look to execute towards the other side of the map in CP room instead. They actually do catch Vinny in the open. He's going to be able to survive in the corner. They'll look to flash him out relatively quickly. He'll be falling back, looking to hide behind the big box here next to lockers. He's lost half of his HP though, so he's going to have trouble holding on as NNM and Elegant will trade blows in the other part of the map here. As they start to move in though, it is going to be held strong by INTZ. Elegant right now, the only player bringing it back. NNM with the double kill brings it all onto Elegant though, and he'll even shut it down as INTZ claim the opening round.
And you can see there, SV, they were just a little bit hesitant on that push. STK able to get behind, find the flank, and the final kill of the round. Huge momentum swing now for INTZ to get it started here, but it's far from over yet. INTZ now looking to hold on to their lead and potentially grab that 2-0 start. WQ taking a ton of damage, though, already in this round, down to just under 10 HP, trying to keep alive, to try and maintain this even number play right now, though. Akemi still looking for that opening pick. Anka going to be trying to challenge this time around. Not going to snipe duel here, has the AK in hand, looking for the pick through the smoke, but Akemi playing patient once again.
It's potentially an on pick, bringing down WQ this low early on in the round. Certainly going to hurt their capability to push in the late round situations here. But NNM going to be getting aggressive in the wood hall to try and stop any early pushes from SV to take control here. There's some good damage out against Anke. He takes a little bit in return, but it's nothing really to worry about. Only 10 HP being lost, and he returns about 50 over to Anke. Still, INTZ holding the overarching advantage in this round right now.
SV once again hesitating. The bomb still down in their spawn as well. They've got a 3-2 setup here, trying to get some action going for themselves over towards the double doors, potentially over towards A now. Akemi, though, still yet to hit a shot, but he's got a good amount of damage dealt yet. Anka on half HP, WQ very low, so SV going to be under some pressure on the execution here, but right now it's going to be INTZ holding this one very safely. Still one player only alone on A bottom, but they may have the advantage here still.
Super Valiant are going to move themselves in with just under a minute remaining on the clock here now. to try and make their push towards either of the sites. It's looking like mid-push will be the option for them, as they might go for top A control, and they're trying to work their way down the side ramp. They get themselves into the site. Pancata, of course, is aware of this. He's holding a top site, trying to make sure that this push will be unsuccessful. It's a pretty big choke point, so it is going to be difficult for the Super Valiant players to successfully push past this. But Pancata looks to hold now. 3 kills going into INTZ's favor, and only now 2 returning for Super Valiant, as it's going to be left down to Elegant and Dalbao Q, who, if you remember, was heavily injured earlier in the round. It's not much of an effort to knock out Elegant, and unfortunately it leaves only Dalbao Q. He does have B site control, but unfortunately, as you can see on the ground, the C4 not going to go his way. So STK shuts it down, and INTZ go up 2-0.
You can see the defense is holding strong so far, but SV, they cannot find the openings they need, and I think it's because N9 hasn't really come to life just yet in this matchup, not entry fragging as we've come to expect from him. Only 1 and 2 so far. Meanwhile, on the other side of things, NNM helping lead the charge alongside STK, who have found a lot of their entry frags here for INTZ, but SV, they look to get aggressive here as they push into L-turn.
Smoke, of course, is going to hold them back for a couple of seconds if they do decide to commit to this, but I don't think that'll be the case. It's very early on in the round, and we already have the majority of SV rotating over towards the wood halls. They move themselves outside and over towards the big doors here leading into the A site. For the rest of INTZ, though, the defense is still relatively heavily set up towards the B sites. They may have to call for some quick rotates. Thankfully, there's NNM and 1 other player positioned down on the A site, ready to defend in the event a push comes this direction. It looks like Super Valiant are going to go for a much more straightforward commitment this time. They aren't challenged at the wood hall, so STK is going to be thrown into the fire here, as it is looking like Super Valiant are going to try to push their way down the steps. STK gets the spot, chooses not to challenge it for right now. However, Super Valiant also call off the attack. They push back and head outside once again.
SV just trying to get INTZ to potentially over-rotate here and put too many resources towards one site, but INTZ, they've played this one quite nicely. Now it's just an even 2-1-2 setup here to wait for the attack. SV, though, running down the clock. Only a minute left to make their move, and still no picks to go their way. STK, though, half HP after that quick engage over towards the A-bomb site. They need to be careful, though, as time is ticking, and INTZ don't show any sign of giving up a pick.
Rest of Super Valiant, however, you mentioned now moving their way back over towards the L turn. Remember, at the beginning of the round, they were looking to go in here pretty much at the start, almost a rush in the L turn to take B control. And it's looking like after quite a bit of delay, they are going to recommit themselves to it. Inside of the cage, Vinny tries to hold, and him and Kenny do just that. A double kill from them. Anke is the only one available for a trade on Super Valiant's side of things, bringing us into a 3 versus 4. For INTZ, their players still holding strong, and Super Valiant will try to rotate over towards the A site, make an attempt here, but STK holds a nice passive position, quickly knocks out one. NNM at the doors at the wood hall will be able to find the second, leaving only Anke in the fight. A 1v4 beset against him, and still no sign of a plant anytime soon. NNM will come in for the pinch. It is going to be red, but it won't matter. NNM shuts it down. It's a dominating start for INTZ at 3-0.
And it's looking like the potential semifinal issues again for SV. N9, only 1 frag on the board. Dabaku 0, 18-0 as well. Things not off to a clean start here for SV. Still time to recover in this best of 3. Akemi taking a lot of damage to start off the round, but INTZ, they know they're in the driver's seat of this match right now. 3-0 lead, uncontested so far on rounds, and they surely won't be slowing down yet.
It's a slow opener and a more spread out opener. Once again, it's going to be the name of the story here for Super Valiant. They've got Dalbao Q ready to try and push into CP room, but he's alone there. And with Smokes present, of course, the forward presence just being located here by Vinny, it's going to be unlikely that he's able to easily access this. But Vinny's already fallen back. Just some early presence to try and delay control for Super Valiant. Speaking of which, 18 has walked right into L turn. Unfortunately, he's also walked right into an AUM from Akemi. And that's going to, again, give INTZ a nice 5v4 advantage to play off of.
And again, somehow INTZ find these advantages. SV, though, no picks going their way at the beginning of these rounds. It's all just been late round trading and not enough to make an impact here. N9 still looking to find some entries here with Dabaku. No luck just yet. They're going to try and sneak their way now over towards the B-bomb site, potentially to go for Locker's control here. Anka coming into support as well. They have to be careful, though. Both Vinny and Akemi posted here on the back of B.
INTZ will just patiently wait for that push to move its way in. Super Valiant are going to be committing themselves through CP room into Lockers and then out onto the B site. That won't prove to be the easiest task in the world again because of Akemi's presence. The good news is he's holding a relatively similar angle. Oh, it's actually going to be a collateral from Akemi. Nicely done. Destroys both Dalbao Q and Elegant as they try to push their way in. Vinny from the top rafters not going to have as much luck as N9 pushes in. Trades out not only him but Akemi as well and brings Super Valiant back into the round.
N9 starting to wake up here. Could be a bit scary for INTZ, but it's not over yet. INTZ look to hold the round as Penkata takes him down, and it's Anka left in a 1v3 situation. Things definitely going a bit poorly for SV once again. INTZ should be able to hold on here, and that's exactly what they'll do. Penkata finds the last kill of the round, and just like that, it's already a 4-0 start here. Not at all what we expected from SV.
And unfortunately, we haven't even really had any close rounds, to be completely honest. Mine is our first one, which I think went a little bit closer. These have all just been shutdowns from INTZ, with 3-4 players staying alive at the end of the round. Super Valiant are cracking under the pressure on this attacking side, unable to put up a single round just yet. We're almost already halfway through the half.
And unfortunately so, DaoBoQ again down without a frag. Anka trades it, but still, INTZ in control of this one here. Anka looking for that second through the edge of the smoke. It's not going to happen though. 18 down to half HP after the engage, but so is STK. INTZ though feeling confident on this one so far. They haven't really had a lot of trouble establishing control of the map. SV though seem to have no control at all here. Haven't been able to sneak their way into really any site control. And the second they do, it's still taken away from them time and time again here. INTZ find themselves in the favorable position, but now SV look to try and answer back as it's a 4v4.
Well, for Super Valiant, it's again the Woodhall control that becomes the opening play for them. They're going to add a little bit of events diversity to it as well, with 18 going for his own push. Problem is that is a solo push, and INTZ have been doing fantastic jobs of taking the initial contact and most of the time coming out successful with it. Great example of that point right there. STK going right up for the steps peak, finds himself an early pick on Elegant. He's going to take some damage in trade. I believe that nade's also going to knock some of his HP off too, but at 40, still might be able to engage later on in the round. 18 in the meanwhile fell completely back to the outside and is wrapping back around, trying to push his way through the CP room and into the B site. The rest of his team's going to be grouping up with him too. INTZ, however, still seem to think this hit's going to be coming over towards that A site, so they might be in for a bit of a surprise in a second here.
Right now, INTZ looking for a 5th straight round on the board. On track to do something I believe has never been done before either. A 10-0 against a Chinese team at a live event would be almost unheard of here. But INTZ, they look so strong to start off this first set. And it is going to be 18 here trying to hold things off. Anka actually goes down first here, as it is going to be STK finding one for the retake. Already looking good for INTZ to retake this one, but still, it is N9 and 18 alive, trying to hold on to the back of this bomb site, both 20 seconds. INTZ, they need to move a little bit faster here. N9 finds one, finds the double kill, and somehow they hold on, but NNM has found one. STK takes down the other. It looked a little bit possible there for a minute, but still, INTZ find their way back into it and remain uncontested.
The good news for the Super Valiant fans is we do have N9 waking up early on. We are going to see some more impactful play coming out from him. The first of it, unfortunately, and unfortunately as well, it only makes a small amount of impact, which does not end up changing the outcome of the round. INTZ still control it and still remain flawless so far on the opening map of this series. Early damage as well from the nades is actually going to net a little bit of early damage against DaoBoQ. None will be returned from SV's side as INTZ continue to dominate. And most importantly, NNM yet to even die yet. It's 6-0.
And the scary thing to think of as well, DaoBoQ, the anchor on their defensive half, currently 0-5. Not what you want to see out of him looking into that second half, but N9 still waking up here, finds the opener for SV. This could be what they need to get themselves back into this match quickly.
Players taking little bits of chip damage from Akemi though, even though he goes down. He also knocks Elegant and Anke down to about half HP or a little over that in Elegant's case. Hopefully make them easier targets when the actual execute happens. This is just for posturing control. And SV are already losing half or more HP on certain players as they try to push their way in for map control here. A little bit of a jump peek. It's going to do some damage to 18. Unfortunately, nothing remarkable. He's just going to be forced back out of the vents. He knows he can't make an easy push, and most importantly, he knows he can't make a surprise push there anymore. So he'll stack up with the rest of his team at the top of the big A steps, as the rest of them are going to be getting prepared to push down into the site. STK in the open for the hold, but he's unsuccessful in trying to pick up any impact. NNM, though, gets himself the double kill, and is still standing. Finally, we are going to see 18 move in for a trade. It's not an NNM, though. NNM will take massive damage from a grenade. Still survives, backs himself up. Most importantly right now for INTZ is the fact that they've dropped the C4 onto the ground. They're trying to make sure it stays that way, as Super Valiant are forced back to the top of the steps and have to rethink their strategy now.
Penkata, though, in the key position to shut things down here, holding on to the top of A, waiting for that cross over into the big cage. We'll see if he can hold it off here, though. SV trying to play very carefully here. Elegant looking for the opening, but these 3 remaining players have been sort of the weak links for SV so far in this match, but not this time around. Elegant finds one. Maybe they will finally get around on the board here. INTZ still have Vinny and NNM, who has yet to die here to try and fight this one. They have control of the bomb as well, but here comes the rush. Not going to matter. NNM is going to take one down before getting traded out there, but still, Vinny remains alive. 1v2 situation. 12 seconds, though, they have to plant now, and Vinny knows it. Finds the headshot down to the 1v1. The bomb still yet to be planted here. The stall with the nade, not going to work. 18, a big headshot there, and finally SV get their very first round of the 3rd place match on the board.
Vinny trying to go for a high-risk, high-reward play, and unfortunately will not pan out. Gets caught chucking the nade down to the site. Threw it a little bit earlier, might have found the impact necessary, but unfortunately 18 was looking at that exact position and does manage to catch the last man standing for INTZ. So they will finally lose their flawless streak. And we'll see Super Valiant get onto the board after 5 consecutive rounds picked up by INTZ. Let's see if this continues to be the case. If INTZ can quickly retake control and continue to reestablish dominance on this half, or if SV have woken up now. If the players from China will be able to net themselves at least a few more rounds before this half closes out.
Still, though, you have to see those A anchors with a combined 16 frags between the 2 of them here for INTZ. A deadly scoreline if you consider how this has played out so far. SV still only with 1 round when we're 6 deep. Not a very good way to get this series started, but still, they could recover and make this a 4-5 half and potentially bring it back in the 2nd. But INTZ still having the shots to make the impact here. 18 only on 2 frags. Dabaku in the last round finally got his first on the board. Still a lot of recovery left here for SV, but INTZ going to be playing that same old setup here. 4 towards this B position and just 1 anchor A. They do have NNM boosted, though, looking for some sort of early entry as he gets a bit aggro here.
He's going to continue to move himself outside. We'll see if anyone from Super Valiant is actually watching this position. You can tell NNM, of course, is a little bit scared to push well beyond the corner and into the actual opening, because you would assume someone from Super Valiant is keeping close eyes on that. And he is partially right. How about Q was watching for this position outside until seconds ago. He's now moved into regroup, however, as the rest of Super Valiant are going to try to push their way into the mid-hall, and where NNM's position becomes a massive benefit for INTZ. He gets himself the double kill, but so does 18. He returns the favor and brings us into a 3v3.
INTZ, though, still has the positional advantage here to try and hold on to this one, but INTZ, they have to be careful. Dabaku now on the hunt, looking for another frag here. The pinch, though, coming over towards STK, going to be caught between a difficult pinch. He will go down. Pinkata and Akemi now looking for the retake. It will be a tough one, but it's actually going to be Pinkata here, hiding on the back of the A bomb site. They haven't spotted him yet, but he's going to go down to Dabaku. It's down to a 1v3 now. Akemi left in a tight spot here, looking for the clutch.
Akemi trying to work his way down as the plant moves in, and unfortunately he'll be completely surrounded at top site. Not a whole lot of ways for him to try and play this out now, as he's stuck behind the control panels. With everyone from SV having good angles against him if he should try to push down these steps. He's not left with much of a choice, though. So he'll have to try and commit to it eventually as 18 continues to on his entire clip. Dabaku will step into this fight now as well. Kemi's actually made quite a bit of progress there, but we do finally see Super Valiant shutting it down. And some consistency, of course, showing up for the Chinese squad as they do get their 2nd round consecutively up on the board.
And this is where INTZ needs to be a bit careful. SV, every round they get is the crowd further behind them here, so the momentum they could get from this could bounce them back right into a winning position. Meanwhile, INTZ still trying to remain on top of this one. NNM leads the charge, finds the opening pick, make it a double kill, and he's able to get out with his life. SV not even able to punish with the trade.
A beautiful start once again from NNM. It looks like he's going to take that top vents position again and try and peek from the mid-hole. See if he can catch SV trying to push down those mid-hallways early on. We saw it in the last round. Not sure if it'll be the case this time, though. What we do have, though, is N9 lurking on the just near outside of the vents here. Players from INTZ, most notably NNM, looking to shut that down if at all possible and retain this 5vx advantage.
INTZ looking for round number 6 on the board. They have full control of the map as well. SV trying to find an opening towards this A bomb site, but they can't find it just yet. 18 almost going down, 7 HP left to work with. Has to be extremely cautious here not to get taken out early. And 9, though, he had a couple solid rounds, but he's fallen off since then. He needs to step up for his team here and find the opening that they surely need at this point.
So N9's going to continue to go. Looks like he reverses his path, actually, as Super Valiant trying to figure out exactly how they want to play this. It's only Dabaku That's worked his way in. B-site's been relatively undefended once more. Only one player from INTZ actually actively holding this, and it's going to be a Kemi. Problem is he's trained on the angle right now that Dabaoq is going to look to push towards, but a smoke will move its way out, hopefully giving Dabaoq the coverage that he needs to push past the Kemi and get onto the site. He's alone still, though. The rest of the team is... Actually, no, it looks like N9 has grouped up them after all instead of playing into those mid-halls, but been kind of shut down the only other player lurking in mid. Dabaoq gets himself to the top of the B site. He's going to lurk into the rafters now, look to attempt to shut down a Kemi, but it won't work. It's going to have to be N9 instead that gets the job done, but now he's locked into a 1v5 situation. Does some good damage to two players, but not enough to shut it down, as we see the Brazilians take back control once again by finding their 6th round of the half.
And this is where you see the value of INTZ having experience against SV in this tournament on the map. They've adjusted to the attacks that are coming their way, and it's worked out very well in their favor here. 6-2, the final round of the first half. And map number 1 surely looking in favor of the Brazilian squad at this point. NNM, though, 13-2. Remarkable performance from him on map number 1. SV, once again, they want to challenge him as well, and this has been their downfall. He's so successful at least grabbing 1 or 2 kills around from this A-bomb site position.
Elegant, meanwhile, has been a little bit more hit or miss on this AWM. He's very close to connecting a shot against Kemi as he hides in the mid boxes, but he's going to be forced back into top A site. We'll have to play from inside of the control center, waiting for the push to come out now. If we do indeed see, SV committing that type of a mid-halls push. At the moment, though, SV again, like we've seen in many of the past rounds, wanting to wait at the timer a little bit before they commit to either side. They do take Woodhall's control, which obviously is going to be the easy part of this since there's no direct mid-contention this time from INTZ.
The hardest part is NNM. He can solo hold this A-bomb site. It forces SV to funnel back towards B, but there's 4 players already waiting for him, and it's going to be a tough one. Right now, SV going to try and find their way onto a Kemi's position. He's been so successful here as well, though, holding off the cross. Right now, though, 3 players already sneak past. He has to be careful. The pinch is coming. N9 from above. Akemi can't find the frags, and SV may just have a round here. It's going to be a 3v5 now on the retake. Vinny goes down as well. STK and NNM looking for some sort of recovery. Not going to happen, though. NNM now left in a 1v5 clutch. Has to find every remaining player here to make this one happen. But right now, he's fully rotating here from the A-bomb site. There's no clear entry here either. He has to try and isolate some nice 1v1s potentially, but here's all of SV peeking right onto him, and they will get the final round of the half. 6-3, still in favor of INTZ, but SV starting to claw back here.
Yeah, SV taking them a while to wake up, it seems like, but they have definitely gotten themselves into the matchup now. For Super Valiant, though, some amazing individual performances coming out from them, especially from the likes of NNM, who, as we were talking about, was able to solo hold that A-bomb site, picking up massive rounds over and over and over again, able to save his team. Even more clutch situations. Definitely the highlight player of the half right there. And we'll see if that remains true as the Brazilians will move on to their attacking side.
And the scary thing here is, as I mentioned before, Dabaoq is now the anchor on the A-bomb site for SV. I don't think he can have the performance we just saw from NNM there.
Not even close. We'll have to see if at least he'll be a little bit more comfortable on that defending side for the global risk. Bring his team back into the fold quickly as well. We don't want to let the momentum swing go that much quickly back into the favor of INTZ to allow them to swiftly move up with just 4 more rounds to be able to take control of this opening map of the series, and especially considering as well that it is the map pick from Super Valiant. It's the one that they wanted to go to first, the one that for the most part they had been dominating in this tournament. And so far it does not seem like that was the case, at least from an attacking side. We've got something interesting happening here though. Vinny very, very quickly moving into an advanced position on the A steps, getting himself into the pocket, where Dabaoq I think was aware of it. And because of the fact that they weren't able to find such a quick kill, INTZ decided to fall back. Meanwhile, over towards the B site, Anke holding the B cage finds himself an early pick here to bring INTZ down to 4. That's going to change, though, as NNM moves in for the quick trade. It's going to go 2 for 1 in that fight, but that only serves to even us out into a 3v3 now. Elegant blinding out one of the members of INTZ, taking him down, reduces the numbers for the Brazilians even more. And Akemi not faring too well either. He'll lose half of his HP trying to fall back into the Woodhall.
Pancada, though, trying to find the opening here over towards the B-bomb side. Having some struggles, though, against Elegant. Here comes the pinch from Dabaoq. He's taken out, and Akemi falls just as quickly. And Dabaoq now coming to life in this second half. Could mean SV easily back into this one.
And so Super Valiant get themselves back into it. They'll continue their fight to bring this comeback back under their control and try to tie us up at minimum 6-6, and of course look to take control from that point forward. It would certainly be heartbreaking if that should happen, considering how far ahead INTZ were at one point in this matchup. A 5-0 lead at best for them. It's now been reduced to only a 2-round advantage in their favor. We've only just started on this attacking side. Might be INTZ that need to figure things out a little bit here, as well as it has been a few days since we've seen them play in active matches, but of course they still would have had plenty of time to rehearse and scrim. It's been 2 days that they've had in Nanjing now to get themselves ready for this matchup.
INTZ, though, needs to be careful. They don't want to lose control of this bomb early. They had some issue with that in the previous round. It fell down in the B control room. Right now, though, Penkata playing in front of the bomb this time around, and they will drop it as well to make sure it doesn't go into the wrong hands. I like this decision. Not going to afford any mistakes just yet. Meanwhile, SV, though, playing extremely patient, but they do actually lose N9 to a nice pick there from Akemi. Grabs one from the L-turn window.
Rest of INTZ going to be moving their way. It's looking like a solidified push through the steps, so Daobao Q will have to hold this. As you mentioned, the solo hold from the bottom side of the site. He's only able to go 1-for-1, so the site is swung wide open, and Vinny continues his rampage. A double kill for him as he moves in and is able to knock out another member of Super Valiant. STK's even taken top site. There's no clean route for Super Valiant teaming it close to this A site now, and it's going to leave them incredibly low on options for that retake. Akemi, even holding in the pipe saw in the wood hall with the AWM, is going to continue to make things difficult. Anke will walk right into a crossfire, and Elegant, farther behind, will get one trade, but it'll matter not, as INTZ shut it down and get themselves up to 7.
Now SV, though, needs to adjust here. Daobao in that solo position on A bottom could be their downfall if they don't partner him up with someone who can help the hold. And as we can see, it looks like N9 going to be going into that position potentially, but he actually stays on upper A, so still putting that trust into Daobao could be a difficult situation for SV. If they're willing to go in the trades on the side of INTZ, could be one and done every time over towards this A bomb site, which could be some nice control plays for them to establish.
So still plenty of time, of course, with the round just beginning. And INTZ, a little bit more of a passive start for them this time. They've got their bomb carrier sitting inside of CP with one of their teammate posture up for control early on. That's Penkata and STK and CP working together. Other players on INTZ going to be examining options over towards that Woodhall push as well, and it looks like they are going to be collapsing upon that now. 4 to 5 of their players making a move to the inside of the hall, with STK working his way in from the vents. 18's got a hard watch on those vents, though, if we did decide to see STK follow through. But I don't think that's... No, it looks like he is actually going to decide to commit himself to the vents. The good news is I think the actual push on the site should distract. It's going to be on Daobao Q again to hold. He does miracles this time, though. A double kill from him. But NNM, and STK do start to bring it back with N9 trading to hopefully keep SV under control. They've lost the site. That's the big issue now. NNM has moved himself behind the missile, and in a moment should have clearance to be able to go for a plant. Akemi, though, is going to be under a lot of pressure, and he can't even perform under it. N9 immediately knocking him out. Leaves NNM alone here. He's going to try to make a mad run to the top site and get himself away over towards that B site, or at least a hold here and catch the players from SV retaking. That's not what's going to happen. SV are smarter than that. They read into the play. They hold themselves inside of the box vault. Outside, that's going to leave NNM incredibly low. Only 7 HP for him to play off of. Unfortunately, since he's lost his position on the A side, he can't as easily go back down and recommit to the plant.
INTZ, this is the position we were worried about them being in. They always have the confident starts on these maps, but they have trouble the closer it gets to crossing that finish line here. NNM looking for a potential miracle of a 1v3 at this point. I mean, 7 HP. It's going to be a difficult task at the least here. Right now, the flash is already coming through. SV in position to strike here. They should be able to take him down, and they will there. Anka finds the final frag, and just like that, SV, it's only 2 rounds separating them from the tie.
Ultimately, the expected result of that round was brought down into the 3v1, but can't fault NNM for trying his best. At the very minimum, makes it to the plant, is able to get the C4 onto the ground. Just couldn't hold due to the incredibly low HP position he had put himself into after trying to sneak away over towards the B site. Super Valiant will take their first round, or excuse me, will take their second round, I believe, on the defending side. Quickly find their path back into this match now. Had only a 2-round advantage once again for INTZ. Ultimately, though, INTZ still in control of this matchup right now. 3 more rounds on the attacking side separate them from victory on SV's map pick.
SV, though, looking a bit more comfortable on the defenses here. We'll see if they can find a way to take this one back into their hands. But SV, they still need to be careful. 18 not having the best of games overall, continuing to be one of the players who struggles for the Super Valiant roster. Meanwhile, in INTZ, Penkata, a bit silent in this half, but overall, pretty decent performance from him. But INTZ, they need to find these openings. Akemi doing a good job here and there, but not quite enough impact to make a full difference just yet. But here we have INTZ already pushing up into the lobby control position. They've got 4 players outside the double doors now waiting to attack. SV, they need to be careful. N9 holding on to the position though, waiting for somebody to cross upper A. The smoke screen comes through, but it's not enough smoke to actually protect them here. Anka comes in, grabs the double kill. SV holding on nicely, and they drop the bomb. That's a huge implication for the round to play out in their favor now. NNM, though, trades out, takes down Elegant. Down to a 3v3 situation. NNM, bomb in hand, looking for more here. Over towards B is Penkata, who finds one. Akemi takes down another, and SV, it's all on to WQ here to try and find the round, but they need to be careful, as it will be him already on the flank here, looking to come out of L-turn, catch them off guard, but it's not going to happen. Penkata pushes out, takes him out of the picture, and it's going to be another round on the board for INTZ as they pick up their 8th.
So INTZ inch closer and closer to being able to close out on this matchup. At least the opening map, I should say, of the series now. It's a best of 3 that we played out for 3rd place. If you are just joining us and are curious what exactly is on the line here, it's a difference of 40,000 USD between the 3rd and 4th place positions. And of course, not only that, fighting to knock China even lower on the totem pole. It's already made CROSSFIRE history this year, the Brazilian teams have, by eliminating Super Valiant from the championship for the first time ever in CFS. Now they're looking to do one better by knocking them out of 3rd place. Things will start well in this round, however, for Super Valiant. Both N9 and WQ picking up quick headshot kills to start off the round. Akemi, Penkata, and STK now left for INTZ. Now -1 as Akemi gets pushed out by N9. STK and Penkata as well don't have great positions to push into the B site from upper. And it's all going to be left down to Penkata in a 1v5 at the end of the day. Falls back to CP room successfully. Just doesn't have a whole lot of ground to work off of, though, to start his 1v5.
Definitely a difficult task here. He's going to find the first kill, but still 4 more left in his way. Not looking too likely to be a reality for him to come out on top in this situation. Has to go for the isolated picks here and just hope for the best. But SV, they're going to be grouped up around that bomb here, waiting to try and catch him off guard and win themselves another round and potentially fight their way back into this. It's still not over. SV with a chance to win it in regulation if they play their cards right here. And SV, a team that knows how to shut down the momentum, especially if we could see 18 step up here. He's the player who's been missing here for SV in this matchup so far. Penkata, though, looking to do something crazy. A 1v5, now a 1v4, not going to happen, though. Elegant shuts him down, and now it's just 2 rounds away from tying it at 8.
So another successful round for Super Valiant. The problem for me, though, is that these traded rounds are relatively even. It's going back and forth for the most part between these two teams at a relatively consistent 2-round advantage for INTZ. So INTZ is probably okay with what's currently happening right now. As long as they continue to trade the rounds back and forth, eventually INTZ is still going to be able to close out here in regulation as they hold that 2-round advantage over their opponents. That is unfortunately a bit of a gamble, though, as they're relying on an inconsistent round pickup to carry them to victory. But as long as it's working, as long as it takes them up to 10, I'm sure they'll be okay with the outcome.
INTZ, though, a team that struggles once they pick up that 8th round. We saw what happened in their match against Carbon. They were up 8-1, and then it was still a 10-7 finish. So SV still with the potential to bring it back here. INTZ always gets nervous when it gets close to the end here, so they still have that opportunity. 18, still 0 frags in the half, though. Could be all the difference they need here to make this one their match for the winning. Here we have it, though. SV going to be playing their same setup. Pretty standard here. WQ on the bottom of the A alone. The rest of his team spread out towards upper A and B.
Another slow walk in from INTZ. This is where problems start to surface, is when the uncertainty of these pushes start to show up for our attacking teams. Oftentimes it leads to very sloppy executes. But I think it's not going to be the case for INTZ regardless, though. Upon moving in, Elegant catches the first kill. Great counter flash as well. Gives WQ plenty of time to get into position. Penkata will be able to trade. N9 takes a very aggressive spot, which is going to lead to him getting traded. But N9 still keeps a good spot himself. He's going to be able to find another pickup. It's left all down to Akemi at the end of the day. And in a 1v3, less than a minute left to try and clutch this out as well, or at very minimum put the C4 onto the ground. He just does not have position to play this out, so it's N9 with a triple kill on the round. And I'll move up and shut things down for the Chinese squad as they finally close that gap and get them within 1 round's reach of INTZ now.
And this is the live pressure we were talking about. SV, the crowd on their side, 1 round away from a tie here. The potential momentum swing could be enough to put INTZ out of this first map, and SV on top in the series 1-0. INTZ still up by 1 round, though it's their game to close, but they haven't found a way to do it just yet. INTZ playing pretty spread out, but now they're going to be going for the B attack for one of the first times we've seen in a while from them.
So unfortunately, the A site play, while it started off working well for INTZ, has not remained consistent. And now that they've lost their edge, they've lost the easy advantage they've had in the past, they're going to switch things up, go for a straightforward B play. Elegant, of course, has seen this, relying on a teammate to hold for him. Anke at top rafters, but it is not working. Everything falling apart for Super Valiant on the inside of this B site. And 9, they're looking to bring it back. A double, now triple kill from him. It'll look to make it 4 as well, but Smokes block his vision, wraps out from the L-turn, and relies on Dalbao Q now to hold inside of the box corner. He'll fall back to the cage, use the nades to hold off any additional pressure from INTZ. And here comes the flank from N9 now. He's completed the lurk, out from L-turn, around in his CP, and is going to look to take these last 2 INTZ players out. Dalbao Q will go 1 for 1 against Vinny, but Vinny with the C4 can still make a mad dash to the A site and try to get the plant there. Problem is, he's low on HP, and N9's got a little bit of an advantage on him with regards to that. So he's got to be very careful when he chooses to take the engagement. Nade goes up the top site. It'll be off the mark. N9 chose not to move in just yet. Another C4 will go down. Vinny gets the spot into N9, but he's way too overexposed. So a massive clutch coming out from N9. Closes down the round for Super Valiant, and most importantly, ties us up at 8-8.
And that's a round INTZ needed to close here. 8-8 now. They fall in the 5v2. N9, though, this is the player that you have to be afraid of when he's firing off like this. He had a completely silent first half, but now that he's awake, you've got to be careful if you're INTZ here, trying to find their way early on into the B control room. Not going to happen, though. SV, they back off after taking some significant nade damage there. 18, though, still 0 on the half. If he steps up, it could be over at this point.
So for Elegant and the rest of INTZ, as they now look to hold off another push into that Huxall early on. Unfortunately, will not pan out too well. INTZ do take control, but a great tap from Dalbao Q. Quickly knocks out STK. He's going to follow it up with a second and a third as well. Tries to make it 4, but will eventually go down to a Kemi. Doesn't matter, though. The damage has been done. And 9 now stands ready to take on any additional challengers. Well, there's only 1 left. It's up to a Kemi now in a 1 versus 4 situation. He'll be falling back over to the Wood Hall, where he's already going to be cut off by Anke, and he'll finish off the round. SV make the comeback and take control of the lead.
Now INTZ, the pressure once again. A very familiar situation. They took it into overtime the first time these two teams met on sub-base, where SV did win that match as well. So SV feeling comfortable here and now. And you can see the change in scores in this half. I mean, Dabaq and 9 at 11 apiece here. Night and day compared to what we saw in half number 1. But INTZ struggling to say the least on this one. Akemi not finding those openings. Penkata having some trouble as well. It's been a tough road ahead here for INTZ. We'll see if they can find a way in. Elegant, though, he's smoked out on the cross. INTZ already forcing their way in here. SV, though, looking for the close. We'll see if they can find it. Elegant gets the opening. It's quickly traded out, though, but it's going to be Anke holding on to the back of sight. He finds himself a trade as well, but still, INTZ able to get one more, but Anke gets the triple kill. This could be it, the 2v1. Vinny, the last hope on map number 1 for INTZ, but Dabaq's already on the rotation as well. Vinny down to no HP. It's not going to happen. SV 10-8. They take map number 1, somehow pulling themselves up and making it happen.
Starts all the way down for Super Valiant Gaming, an 0-5 deficit at the start of the game. Look at INTZ. They knew they had control over this matchup. They knew the advantage they had, and unfortunately they also know how they've squandered it now, trading rounds back and forth on their attacking side, eventually to completely lose the momentum and allow for Super Valiant to come back and take control of map number 1 all the way down to the final round of regulation as well.
What an incredible comeback. 0-5 to come to 10-8. How does that even happen? Super Valiant Gaming, slow starters, making their way through, storming through in the end as well, Kyle. That Super Valiant that we saw in the last 5 rounds was the Super Valiant I'm used to watching.
Yeah, it definitely was, and it was kind of the issue we talked about at the start. INTZ just not able to close maps.
Yeah.
They had similar struggles in their match against Carbon, but Carbon, they just were so far behind they couldn't bring it back. But SV, when they get that momentum, they're almost impossible to shut down. N9 and Dabaq just having a huge second half.
Yeah, NNM and STK didn't die for the first 5 rounds. They had no deaths. They were going very strong. Whilst on the flip side, Dabaq and I think it was 18 were really struggling. They hadn't picked up a kill at all. And then we flip through to the second half, and all of a sudden, WQ coming out, he's getting frags. 18, though, still continued to struggle. I don't think he found a kill in the second half either. So maybe something going on there, Blue.
Yeah, that could be a worry going into maps number 2 and 3. The problem is, though, is as long as the performance is kept up from players like N9, who really awoke in that second half, and Q, the lacking performance from 18 didn't really seem to matter all that much, as they were still shutting down rounds time and time again and really just completely stole the momentum away from the guys on INTZ. N&M, you talked about his good performance in the first half. Where was he in the second half? Completely dropped off a cliff after the first 1 or 2 rounds there, and as soon as we saw the momentum start to swing back into the Chinese team's favor.
And you could hear the crowd as well. They also were slow to start. It felt like they were cheering, but it wasn't what it was at the end. They maybe didn't believe it themselves, and then all of a sudden the belief was there, and they were cheering. The Gyos was strong, and so was Super Valiant Gaming, and you can tell that the Chinese crowd was very, very happy with that result. And after what we've seen there, I now feel it's really quite difficult for INTZ to come back from that. That was their perfect start. They could not have asked for more than that. How that first half went down.
Yeah, that was really a big opportunity for them to start the series off in a position where they could potentially win, but now the Chinese team up by a map, I think it's going to be incredibly hard for INTZ to take that pressure off themselves and get back into it.
Yeah, what are your thoughts, Blue?
Well, thankfully we are going to be going onto their map pick next, which at least lends a little bit of support to them if they've prepared for it. I believe we're going to Port as the second map, so hopefully they're going to be able to bring it back and have a little bit more of an advantage there. But ultimately, right, just looking at it from a mental perspective, you start out with a 5-0 lead, and you just completely lose all steam in the second half. That can't be good for your morale going into the second map, and we're just going to have to hope that they can shrug off the result for map number 1 and focus up for map number 2 to keep them in contention for this tournament.
Yeah, definitely a difficult position to be in. However, to be fair, they probably expected to lose that first map. Subbase wasn't always going to go their way. It didn't go their way the first time around. So coming into today's best of 3, maybe they thought, if that's the first map, we might lose that, and we need to win the next 2. So even though they started off well, even so, maybe they've let something slide a little bit, an opportunity slip out of their grasp. I don't think there's too much they need to worry about in that regard, considering how they would have thought the game would have started. And you see N9 on the screen as the MVP there, 19 and 10, 12 headshots. Oh my goodness, that's some pretty good aim.
It definitely is, and I think that 2v5 we saw there was kind of the tipping point here for INTZ to start falling. After you lose something like that, it's really, really hard to regroup and come back into it. Yeah,
it's definitely a difficult position to be in. Heading into this next map, Blue, Super Valiant Gaming looking very strong. The crowd's behind them. It's going to be hard for INTZ to stop this.
Yeah, very much the case. We need to see players like N&M, who had great performances in the first half, remain consistent going into the second half, and we'll just have to see if that'll be the case.
Well, guys and girls, that is one map in this best of 3 in our third place map between Super Valiant Gaming and INTZ. And we're going to be back right after this short break.